part of the learning experience is taking inventory and ownership of your learning. One way to deconstruct our learning is through a learning manifesto. The focus of this learning manifesto is to share my passions, to identify emerging trends relating to digital learning, how can society fix current educational systems, to discuss my core belief systems about digital learning, while honing in on the difference and impact I will make at my campus. What are you truly passionate about? I am passionate about an endless array of educational trends and topics. My outstanding passions are building relationships with my students, empowering students, motivating them to learn, and celebrating diversity amongst my student populations. I also am passionate about giving my students an authentic voice and shaping young men and women to be the best citizens they can be. I am passionate about students receiving special needs, students with able abilities. Regarding relationships, it is important to know that students will not respond well to a dominating teacher. They want a teacher who will listen, empathize, and allow them to speak in a safe space. According to Baruti K.K. Fell, my role is to make my classroom an oasis where students can temporarily remove themselves from their outside realities, where they can focus on their education so that they can one day permanently escape those realities. Aaron Rogers, an elementary teacher, instructional designer, and vlogger stated, "I want to have a great relationship with my students, so they will know I will go above and beyond for them and they'll also do the same for me."
I'm going to go into another tip of Love and Logic, and this is about building a relationship. I tell people if you don't have a relationship with kids, nothing else will work. I try to think about Love and Logic the same way I think about relationships. If you have a relationship at home with someone that you care about, you'll go above and beyond to help them out. If you have a very poor relationship with a friend or with a spouse, you're probably not very likely to go above and beyond to make them happy. So same thing with my kids. I want to have a great relationship with them so that they know I'll go above and beyond for them, and they'll also do.
Empowering students to believe in themselves, to understand that they have a right to an equitable education, and to inspire them to maximize all their learning opportunities is a passion of mine. I strive to be their biggest champion and cheerleader. The classroom is my game and I am their coach. We are all in this to win.
And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you.
I am also passionate about students' wellness and socio-emotional learning. I often stress mindfulness activities to help students understand their emotions. Because of this, encouraging students to use their authentic voice is vital for their learning. This is one tool that allows them to take ownership and understand their own learning. When students practice the COVID learning components, they are given choice, ownership, voice, and an authentic learning experience.
Student voice for me is coming out of my shell and showing people that regardless of where you start, you can always go further.
I was right, sweet.
I was contacted by a woman in our district who kind of works with the board of trustees, and she said, "Hey Michelle, I have this student, she is an 8th grader and she..."
You guys are doing this now. Imagine what you're doing when you're our age or when you're older. You guys are going to rule the world and it's going to be amazing.
We've ever had elementary school students here, which is super exciting. And we all think that leadership, it starts young.
When we talk about giving students a voice, it's really not just listening, but valuing what they're telling us. And again, seeing them as contributing members of the education system.
Each one of my students is unique and authentic. I embrace their various cultures and backgrounds. I do not ask questions about students' lives, but after building relationships with them, I allow the process to organically happen. Students will share their lives with me if they choose. I emphasize at the beginning that I am for understanding all religions, embrace international cultures and races, and embrace all identities, all genders, and all orientations. Cultural responsiveness in some form, because it is such an essential aspect of the learning process, particularly when we are talking about the student populations comprised of children of color. It is absolutely unavoidable and indispensable because, at the end of the day, the children have to be able to see themselves in the lessons they are learning and see the relevance of what they have learned after the dismissal bell rings at 3 o'clock. Quote from Baruti KK Fell. Finally, students who are receiving special education services are very important to me, because I believe all students need an equitable education. My son is special needs and I fight very hard to ensure he is getting the same education as his peers. Students who are handy capable to utilize technology in their education. This transition to my next point. What do you think are emerging issues related to digital learning and leading at the state, regional, national, and/or global contexts? Emerging issues that range from the state to worldwide access include having equitable assistive learning technologies for persons who require them, artificial and augmented reality in the classroom, and gamification and game-based learning. Assistive technology in the classroom allows learners who may have some sort of disability to learn and receive an equitable education as their counterpart learners. These technologies are emerging and being invented to improve students' learning. Virtual and augmented reality is a growing technology that can be implemented in the classroom. R/VR is an engaging tool to utilize because it augments realistic objects through three-dimensional graphics and images in a way that bursts off the screen. Learners can make connections to concepts through this technology. Gamification and game-based learning are growing trends that educational systems are adapting in their computer science curriculums. Students are allowed to design and code their games based on an assigned learning-based project. Students, for example, can program a cybersecurity game that defends against hacking. Cybersecurity too is an emerging trend. Assistive technology, virtual and augmented reality, and game-based learning are all emerging trends that each school needs to either address, expand their curriculum for their students, or provide the best technologies for all learners to receive an equitable education. When it starts at the local and state level, hopefully, trends can spread world. What is right, wrong with education and what should the world do to enhance, fix it? What is wrong with education? Where to start? Besides lack of funding, stresses of standardized testing, increasing school violence, bullying, cyberbullying, providing authentic educational opportunities that are culturally diverse, to help change all of this is through the use of technology. If we are to enhance or fix these issues, one must first look at the educational system as a whole first. There are budgets that restrict an authentic learning experience. For example, a teacher currently may be teaching a special course on cybersecurity and may lack the budget to order new computers with upgraded memory and software. A teacher can present to their administrator the use of virtual machines on the existing computers. These are mostly free. Regarding the stresses of test scores, teachers can provide engaging lessons, where students utilize technologies such as Kahoot, quizzes, or Quizlet that help with academic core retention. School violence is a scary issue for our students and school community to face. Sometimes technology can mitigate threats. Although this is not a direct technology that affects learning, students need to be safe in order to learn. Various technologies such as tools that can monitor social media threats, technology such as advanced security systems, cameras, and software that detects alarming patterns. School bullying and cyberbullying is a rising issue on our campuses. Schools can utilize digital citizenship standards issued by the International Society for Technology in Education, IST, which emphasizes being alert and informed while utilizing technologies. Having students receive an equitable educational experience that is authentic is the responsibility of the educator. Through technology, teachers can help facilitate students' learning, by allowing them to immerse in educational opportunities such as creating a self-portrait on a digital drawing software, allowing students to research and create an audio, visual presentation about important issues that align to their belief systems and passions in a social studies project. Technology allows learners to experience authentic, engaging learning opportunities. What are your core belief systems about digital learning and the impact you hope to make in your organization? I believe that all students, first and foremost, deserve an equal education. This education should be culturally diverse. The role of the teacher has now become the facilitator, and they guide their students on the educational road of learning. Through that journey, students have the opportunity to take ownership of their learning by understanding their thinking, their learning styles, and what is engaging to them. Through technology, teachers can utilize this tool as a component to provide students with opportunities to learn target learning goals, concepts, and allow them to discover their skills. We want to encourage and inspire all of our learners to be lifelong learners and to continue that journey. Through digital learning, students receive instruction through a blended learning experience. These students often are in a flipped classroom. Another core belief I stress is students need to be responsible and practice good digital citizenship, be given the authority to take ownership of their learning, with the idea that they have a growth mindset. Through this mindset, students can understand their pace of learning. Learning becomes enhanced and engaging through technological and digital learning systems. I believe that, through digital learning, teachers are able to provide enhanced learning opportunities, improve their teaching, help with formative assessment to measure the progress of learning, which overall increases student achievement and growth. Within my organization, I will empower my students to change their view of themselves in a positive way, which will allow them to change their view of their education, and allows them to change their view of the world. I want to empower them with engaging lessons, student choice, and through the use of technology in the classroom, while implementing elements of the GOVA model. I will encourage administration to allow me to present this along with my growth mindset professional development plan to my colleagues in order to increase student achievement.